a celebrity coach, and I have an amazing opportunity to have an interview with
Julia Keller, love coach, transformational love coach.
And I am so happy to be able to do this because I have been reading through Attract Authentic Love. So who better to have a conversation with but the transformational love coach herself?
Yes.
So, Julia, what inspired you to write this book?
To be fair, it really came from my clients. I actually was doing love coaching for the past 2 years. And every single time I would have clients that kind of asked me to summarize what we did, or really said, can you send me those exercises again, or whatever it was. And I would always write these long, massive emails of exercises and things that they need to do in between and give them all this homework. And then my clients were kind of like, can you just put that together in a little booklet or something, just so I can have it to remember after we finish with our sessions. And over time I started to say, I think I'm going to have to write a book. And they were so excited about the fact of, okay, you'll give me something that I can read, some kind of manual, step-by-step guide, that I just decided to put that together. And so it kind of came together over time, where I wrote a bit by bit, and then I also did these interviews with men and put stuff into there that I used for my newsletters, and that it's on YouTube, by the way, guys, if you want to look. It's Honest Conversations with Quality Men on YouTube. And through all of that coming together, all those different summaries, I then brought everything together and edited that and added some bits and added some extra chapters and deleted some chapters and got a book out of it.
Well, it is an amazing book. I have been reading this book. And you know, you asked me if I did have authentic love, and I do. And what I realised was a lot of the things that you say in this book is the actual steps that I actually done to change those things. And so what I'd like you to do is, if you can just give me one of the tips that is most effective for you.
So I actually wanted to tell you, I overheard you talking to my PA, Stephanie, who's recording this video, by the way, about the list. And interestingly enough, the list is where clients were had the most dramatic situations happen after we did this list. And that is probably one of my favorite exercises that I've done with clients, because it's so effective. But also what I've done with the list is I actually add, for my personal clients, and now soon to be released in my self-study product as well, and my group coaching. It's going to be a visualization exercise that guides them through in the way that we studied NLP, because we're both NLP practitioners, masters. In the way we study NLP, a visualization exercise that takes you into really channeling in that future, that life that you want. Because I believe, as you said, you believe as well, that where you put your thoughts is where things happen. One of the things I really believe is you need to know what you want. You need to know what you want the universe to bring you. And so if you tell the universe, here is my ingredients, here's my list, here's this person that I want in my life, you start with that. And then because you start thinking about the list, you start imagining this person more and more. And so what I do with clients is I have a before visualization where I take them through, so that they can get into the mindset of picturing what they want. And then I have an after visualization, which kind of closes it and takes them into the mindset of, okay, what is this life like with this ideal person? How does it feel like? And is this the right person for you? And as they do that before, and they write the list, and then they do the after, this thing comes about, which is this list. And then I take them through a series of homework going along with the list that then makes them keep thinking, keep focusing, and keep bringing that into their lives. That has been one of the most effective chapters in this book.
I absolutely agree. I do encourage you to go out and get this book. Where can they buy this, Julia?
They can buy that on Amazon, and it should be in bookstores by the summer.
Now, before we got to the authentic love part, there was the obstacles. And I wanted to kind of talk to you about that, just to help other people who may be in that current situation now, how they can actually work through that period, that obstacle, challenging period right now. What would you suggest they do?
So when you say obstacles...
Well, you're divorced. I'm
divorced. Yes.
what is the best thing to tell those people who are experiencing
from my own personal life?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my own personal life story, though it looks like bright and shiny now, I went through loads. And in fact, I would say, I mean, people often ask me, like, well, you're divorced, how can you be teaching people about love? And I'm just like, it's exactly because of my obstacles, because of the crashes, that I'm able to teach people about love. Because, I mean, when I ask really successful couples what makes them so successful, they often are like, their initial reaction is, we love each other and we're good friends. Like, they don't know what to tell me. So what I do is I start pouring and asking more questions and watching them and modeling them. And when I was getting through my divorce, I was very conscious of the fact that I know that at least 50% of what happened that ruined my marriage was my fault. So it's not, I will never say that I'm blameless. I know that I would do something that brought out some kind of reaction out of my ex-husband. And he would do something that brought out a reaction with me. And the problem was, we were constantly reactive. We were constantly reacting to each other. And neither one of us just like stopped and thought, okay, let's not think about just me. Let's think about my relationship. What's more important, being right, getting my selfish desires met, or this relationship working out in the long term? None of us ever stopped and thought about that. We were just so stuck in our own pain, in our own pity party, that we kind of missed the boat for the trees. So one of the things that I teach clients is you have to work on yourself first. Yeah. Before I did anything, all of this book, all 9 chapters of this book, I did for myself.
One of the things that I recognised here, which is very similar to something that is in my basis, is your parents.
Yes.
And, we always learn it, aren't we? And when I read that, I was like, yes, I get that. Yeah. Because my parents are still married today. Yeah. Been married for over 40 years. Yeah. And, one of the things that my dad refers to my mum, which I heard him say constantly, is that she is his life's partner. Yeah. And so, I think sometimes when you're young, you just want the wedding day or the marriage, but you don't even know what it looks like. Yeah. And I found that in doing the list, I changed the word to life partner. Yeah. Someone that I could have a journey through life with. Yeah. Be good friends. Yeah. Whether it's ups or downs, whether there's ill health, because as you're getting older, your parents get sick and things like that. So I wanted you to just talk a bit about how that has actually grounded you now.
Yes, and I want to say that with a grain of salt, because I want to say I grew up, my parents have been through thick and thin together. I mean, they really went through everything. We were immigrants, and it was the hardest time in their lives when they were immigrants. They were forced to separate, not like actually separate themselves, but forced to live in separate places because of where they received their residency. And beggars couldn't be choosers. They're both doctors, so they just took what they got. And it was really, we went through really tough times, but my parents, because of their strength as a couple, because their whole value was, this is my life partner, there was no thought of divorce. There was like, this is my ideal person, this is my match. And the relationship is more important than this temporary, who's right, who's wrong, argument, whatever it is, the battle. I mean, my mother didn't want to emigrate. She didn't want to leave. My father really wanted to leave, and my mother was like, okay, I have to now choose between staying with my husband, being, his wife and being this mother of this family, or breaking up our family. And it was really tough for her to leave her family behind, everybody, to go to another world she knew nothing about. And she did. She followed my father, and, there were lots of hard times. And now she will be the first person that says, thank God I left, because it's like my life is 1,000 times better. He was right. Yeah. My father had that long-term vision. She didn't have it. She had a lot of fear, but she trusted so much in this relationship, in them as a couple. And what I want to say to people is, you don't need to grow up with this perfect family life. Your parents don't have to be married. Many of my clients have broken up family marriages. It's not about that. It's about, even if you don't have that grounding, that's not what's important. What's important is that you yourself, when you find your partner, you both commit to it completely. It really should be in, but richer and poorer, and, through sickness and through health, through everything, and, till death do we part. The thing is, people sign up for that, but we don't really. myself included.
Yeah.
You know, the minute things went a little bit shaky, a little bit wavy, I was out of there. You know, we're kind of like, I signed on the dotted line, but hey, we can still break up. And, you know, that's why the divorce rate is what it is. And part of the self-work that I've done is really, okay, I know the next time I sign on the dotted line, this is for real, this is for keeps. There is no, you know, we work on this. And I tell that to the person that I'm with, and I'm like, look, when we get married, it's for keeps. There's no, this is temporary, let's try this out, let's see how we fit. No, we work on this. And if you have that commitment to each other, and that's what it really comes down to. Because that commitment to each other, which is what my parents have, which is probably what your parents have, it's more than just friendship. It's more than just, you know, this is my life partner. It's kind of like the belief that you will work on it, even through everything that goes wrong, rather than just running away. You commit to saying, how can we make this better?
When can people next hear you speak?
So I'm actually speaking for the Hampstead Life Talks, and we'll put a link at the end of this where you can hear me speak. And I'm speaking again at the Mind, Body, Soul Conference. And I'll be at the next expo as well. Are you going to be at the next expo?
Yes, definitely.
Fantastic.
Are you going to be the one in the US?
I don't know about the US yet.
Okay.
Are you doing that?
Well, I'm going to think about it.
Okay.
I am going to think about it, because with things kicking off, I just want to make sure I look after my baby.
Of course.
But before we end, I just wanted to just touch on something you mentioned briefly. Self-worth.
Yes.
Can you, just as we close, just tell us the real importance of this key factor, please?
Yes, and this is why everything I do with clients has a 3-step process. And the 3-step process is, number 1, work on yourself first. Because if you don't feel that you love yourself, if you don't feel that you value yourself, how can you ever expect anyone to value you? I mean, really, self-value is the number 1 step. In fact, with some of my clients who come to me for love, we don't actually progress to helping them, you know, flirt or whatever it is. We literally just work the whole time on self-value. And when their self-value grows, they just find they don't need the rest of the steps anymore. They're just like, okay, well, now that I value myself, now that I feel that I'm beautiful, now that I can walk into a room and feel like, oh, I deserve to be looked at and loved, they can come in, they basically can take off on their own. They're like a rocket ship. They're like, I got it now, Julia, I'm good. You know, they don't need the flirting tips, because they're like, I feel good about myself. It's just naturally comes. And the whole self-value thing, it's just so important, which is one of the reasons why, you know, I also like to work with younger people like you do as well on the self-value bits. It's just so important to value yourself, to realize what you're worth, so that you don't give yourself away unnecessarily or too cheaply.
I really would say, go and get this book. It is actually a personal development tool.
Fantastic.
As well as finding love for yourself and others. It's a real good strategic book. I've really enjoyed reading this, and I advise you to go and get yourself a copy. So thank you, Julia.
Fantastic.
This has been my first interview, and it's been with you.
I'm honored to be your first interview.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.